We've got a couple more lines open, and I know that at this point, the theist should be at a church, so you have no excuse. Give us a call, and we'll see if we can get to you before the end of the show.
Absolutely. We do want to talk to more religious callers. But there is... Ooh. V, do you want to decide who we're going to take?
I know this says that this could be a troll. So if we get the sense that it's a troll or if we recognize your voice, then we're moving on. If this is an honest question, then I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Okay. V, of their free will, is choosing to take Mike in Ohio.
Yep.
Mike, you're live with Eric and V.
Mike, he, him in Ohio. Hello.
Hi, Eric and V.
Hi.
Long-time ACA listener, not a troll, just kind of a curious question.
Perfect.
Which you already see. One quick question first, I guess. Is Jamie still part of the ACA? I don't know if you can answer that or not. If he is,
got it. So,
hey Jamie, I was a big fan of.
So Mike, Mike,
you and Jamie's work before you and V started working together quite often due to Corona.
Well, I appreciate that. I do want to clarify that V and I are no longer doing shows for the ACA, and that Skeptic Generation is our own thing, and that we've stopped doing projects and things with the ACA back in May.
Yeah. Whether or not Jamie is still involved, I haven't seen him around the ACA very much, but who knows?
I mean, we had dinner with him a couple of months ago, and he appeared to be doing well. He's absolutely still Jamie. And
I think he was starting his own thing as well, so keep an eye out for that, I guess.
Absolutely. And if we, find out what he's up to, I'd be happy to, tweet out and get info out about him and where people can find him.
Yeah, but what's your question, Mike?
Yeah.
So I obviously understand how pronouns work, he, him, she, her. I guess my question is the they, them. Why or in what circumstances
I'm going to get some coffee. Yeah.
do people associate that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm happy to have this conversation with you. I have zoomed in on my face so that Eric can leave if he wants.
I don't get to sorry. I don't have where I live, there's not a very large gay community or a trans community or anything like that. It's a pretty straight white area.
You're calling in from Ohio. Yeah, I get it. I lived there for a while.
I consider myself as open as I can be, and my wife and I have talked about it a few times, seeing that, the pronouns are added to some of the shows now, and we're curious, why the they, them over he, her, considering how people recognize themselves.
Absolutely. For sure. Happy to have that conversation. I'm also glad to hear that other shows might be doing pronouns too now. That's very progressive of them. Good for them.
People have been following us and doing what we're doing. I'm glad for that.
That's good. All right. So here's the deal. So where do I start? There are people who do not feel comfortable using he, him pronouns or she, her pronouns. They may want to use they, them. They don't have to. There are other pronoun options available. They're called neopronouns, and they're still kind of getting their foothold in society, so it's not as known of a thing. They, them is really the biggest one right now. But essentially, I can speak to my experience, and my experience is that there aren't other options really available to us. We live in a society where people are put in really one of two boxes, and there are people who fall between the boxes. And in order to have other people hold a coherent conversation with them, they need pronouns, and so they pick the ones that work best for them. The reason that I use they, them pronouns is because I do not think that I fit into the she, her box. And I also looked over at the he, him box and was like, do I jump in that box? No, I don't feel like a he, him either. So I'm kind of stuck. Here's this third option. It's relatively ingrained in society. Using they, them to describe people of nondescript gender has been a thing for a very, very long time. I'm just going to use this one. Is it something that's inherent to me, my they, themness, those two words? Not really. It's just the best words to describe my experience and the thing that makes me feel most seen by other people.
Okay, can I tie in just a little bit as well?
I would love to hear Mike's thoughts on that first.
Okay.
Well, I understand where you're coming from with that. Again, basically, I was more looking kind of for a little bit of an education as to why, and at least that sort of checks that box a little bit.
Can I just add a little bit of practical to it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there are a lot of people who just really, really want to be victims, who will say, well, I can't intuit somebody who uses neopronouns. I can't intuit their pronouns, and if I get it wrong, I'm going to get in trouble. Number one, no, you're not. The important thing is that you care. Number two, what if they just told you? What if somebody said, hey, these are my pronouns? That way you wouldn't have to worry about it at all. What if on our name tags, it just said Eric, he, him on my name tag? And that way you would just know, and that would solve that, right? What we're doing on this show is we're adding that to help add clarity. And plus, we live in a society that's so shitty about even recognizing that these people exist.
Right.
That doing that small kindness adds validation and goes, you as a person, you're listened to and you're seen. And hopefully we can live in a society where that is just going to be, well, yeah, I want to know how to respond to or talk to this person using the pronouns that work for them.
In my head, I guess I live in a internet bubble, at least. Texas is not very progressive overall, but I do have a lot of friends and coworkers and colleagues and people in the bubble that uses pronouns. And so for me, it feels just as natural and as respectful as asking someone for their last name or asking, that person just called you Bill. Do you go by Bill or do you go by Billy or William? What do you want me to call you? So it's just kind of adding that extra nicety, that extra bit of respect to engaging with somebody. And that's just what we want to emulate on the show.
Ooh, can we put it in a similar bin? When I was young, I was told that if I found out that someone who identifies as a woman is married or unmarried, that the respectful thing to do is to call them Ms. or Mrs. or Ms. if it's unknown. Can we use a similar bin to that?
Yeah.
And go, hey, you know what? That's just, you find out a thing, you're learning, you want to
Absolutely. No one's going to be mad at you if they're like, I am a Mrs. Excuse you, I'm married. How could you not intuit this? Right? Like, it's like, oh, no, actually, it's Mrs. Oh, okay. And then that person's a Mrs. in your head.
Yeah. And unless they're in an open relationship or are poly, you should probably not hit on that.
Mike, how are you feeling about this? Does this answer some of your questions?
Yeah, I think so. I think that kind of at least gave me the general idea of a little bit more as to why. I know I'd seen it a few times, and I wasn't sure why the they them compared to either identifying he she or he she.
Well, some people do that too.
It's just about seeing the person. I mean, it's the entire concept of gender is societal, and so why not?
Yeah, things are much more fluid. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and things are so different now than what they were then. I grew up very religious and would have thought a lot of the things that I think now are absolutely nuts.
Yep.
Oh, the bigoted views held in religious. Oh my gosh. Aren't you glad, Mike, that we got to, we're the last generations that didn't have social media, back when we were in high school. Oh my gosh.
It's so different now, but I feel as though so different for the good and the bad in a lot of different ways. And hopefully the good is eventually going to outweigh the bad with people being more aware of the other humans around them and how the other humans around them feel and see themselves.
Well, Mike, I really appreciate you. I think this was a great call, and I want to encourage people to ask these kinds of questions in the same respectful and thoughtful way that, Mike, you clearly have. So thank you.
I know you guys do. That's why I called you guys today, because I actually kind of just found, is it Skeptic Generation?
Yeah, welcome.
I just kind of found that, you guys were doing this show somewhat recently and had caught a couple episodes, and
nice.
You guys were...
The algorithm kind of picked us up.
Well, thanks so much for calling in, Mike.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more last quick question?
Yeah.
I saw a picture where you guys had rings, and I know you guys were a couple. Are you married now?
We are engaged.
V proposed.
You're engaged. Congratulations.
V proposed at my birthday party. And it was amazing, and I cried. And and we had our closest friends there, and somebody took a picture. You can see that on our Twitter, both of our Twitters. But if you want to know kind of the details on that one, we did a show on V's channel.
Yeah. So we did an hour-long live stream and answered people's questions about it and told the story. So if you want to check that out, you can go to youtube.com/VRoseLaBianca, and it's up there.
Yeah, this format isn't super conducive to it. I know people are like, wow, they're so cold. We don't really, but it's just because it's the format. We're in love, we're happy, and for people who do want to see that, yeah, check out that episode.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, thanks. And I'm glad I wasn't a frustrating Christian.
No, you're good, man. Take care.
I just realized I haven't had his thing up. I don't know for how long, but sorry, Mike. That was actually a really good call.
I agree. I was going to say me too. I agree.